The Lost Love. Chapter 1. The Reunion. Emma and Daniel had been high school sweethearts in the quaint town of Willow Creek. Their love story was the envy of all their friends, but fate had different plans. After graduation, Emma moved to the city for college, while Daniel stayed behind to take care of his ailing mother. They promised to stay in touch, but as time passed, their communication dwindled, and eventually they lost contact. Years later, Emma returned to Willow Creek for a high school reunion. The town had changed, yet it still held the charm of her youth. As she walked into the reunion hall, her heart raced with anticipation. She wondered if Daniel would be there. Just as she was about to give up hope, she saw him standing by the punch bowl, looking just as she remembered. Their eyes met, and for a moment it felt like no time had passed. Daniel walked over and they embraced, the years of separation melting away. They spent the evening catching up, reminiscing about old times, and rediscovering the connection they once had. As the night came to an end, Daniel invited Emma to visit the old manor on the outskirts of town, where he had been living since his mother passed away. Emma hesitated but agreed, intrigued by the idea of rekindling their romance. Chapter 2. The Manor. The next evening, Emma drove to the manor. It was an imposing, ancient house with ivy-covered walls and a wrought iron gate that creaked eerily as she pushed it open. The moonlight cast long shadows across the overgrown garden, giving the place a haunting beauty. Daniel greeted her at the door, and they stepped inside. The interior was a stark contrast to the outside. It was warm and inviting, filled with antique furniture and the soft glow of candlelight. Daniel led Emma to the living room, where they sat by the fireplace, sharing stories and laughing like old times. However, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The air was thick with an unspoken tension, and the flickering shadows seemed to move with a life of their own. As the night wore on, Daniel excused himself to fetch some wine from the cellar. Emma took the opportunity to explore the manor. She wandered through the dimly lit hallways, admiring the old paintings and artifacts. Suddenly, she heard a faint whispering. She followed the sound to a closed door at the end of the hall. Curiosity got the better of her, and she opened the door to find a dusty old library. Chapter 3. The Secret Inside the Library. Emma found a journal lying on a desk. She opened it and began to read. The entries were written in a delicate script and detailed the life of a woman named Evelyn, who had lived in the manor many years ago. As Emma read on, she discovered that Evelyn had been deeply in love with a man named Henry. Their love was passionate but forbidden, and they had planned to run away together. However, something had gone terribly wrong. Evelyn's last entry spoke of a terrible curse placed upon the manor by a jealous suitor. The curse was said to trap the souls of lovers who dared to live in the house, binding them to the place for eternity. Emma felt a chill run down her spine. Just then, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned to see Daniel standing in the doorway, a somber look on his face. "I see you found Evelyn's journal," he said quietly. Emma nodded, her heart pounding. "Is it true? The curse?" Daniel sighed. "Yes, it's true. Evelyn was my great-grandmother. The curse has haunted my family for generations. I didn't want to tell you, but you had to know. Chapter 4. The Haunting. Emma felt a mix of fear and sadness. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Daniel looked away, pain etched on his face. I didn't want to scare you away. I thought maybe we could break the curse together. Emma felt a surge of determination. She had come back to Willow Creek for a reason, and she wasn't about to let a curse come between them. How do we break it? She asked. Daniel took her hand. We need to find Evelyn and Henry's spirits and help them find peace. Only then will the curse be lifted. That night, Emma and Daniel began their search. They explored the manor, calling out to Evelyn and Henry. As they ventured deeper into the house, the air grew colder, and the shadows seemed to close in around them. They finally reached the attic, where they found an old trunk. Inside, they discovered letters exchanged between Evelyn and Henry, detailing their love and plans to escape. As they read the letters aloud, a cold breeze swept through the attic, and the ghostly figures of Evelyn and Henry appeared before them. Evelyn spoke first, her voice filled with sorrow. We were trapped here because of our love. We never got our chance to be together. Henry nodded. Please help us find peace. Chapter 5. The Confrontation. Emma and Daniel knew what they had to do. They gathered the letters and brought them to the old oak tree in the garden where Evelyn and Henry had planned to meet before fleeing. As they placed the letters at the base of the tree, the ground began to tremble. The spirits of Evelyn and Henry appeared, their hands reaching out for each other. Just as they were about to touch, a dark figure emerged from the shadows. It was the jealous suitor who had cursed them, his face twisted with rage. You will not break my curse, he bellowed. Daniel stepped forward, his voice steady. You have no power here anymore. Your hatred cannot bind them forever. Emma joined him, holding up Evelyn's journal. Their love is stronger than your curse. The dark figure screamed in fury and lunged at them, but as he did, the letters at the base of the tree burst into flames. A blinding light engulfed the garden, and when it faded, the dark figure was gone. Evelyn and Henry stood before them, their faces serene. Thank you, Evelyn whispered. You have set us free. Epilogue. Emma and Daniel decided to restore the manor, turning it into a bed and breakfast that celebrated the history and love stories of Willow Creek. They hung portraits of Evelyn and Henry in the main hall, along with other couples who had found love in the town. Word of the manor's history and the brave couple who had broken the curse spread, and soon visitors from all over came to stay and hear the tale. Emma and Daniel's love story became a symbol of hope and resilience, proving that true love could overcome any obstacle. As they stood together in the restored garden, watching the sunset, Emma and Daniel knew that they had been given a second chance. Their love had been tested by time and darkness, but it had emerged stronger than ever. Together they faced the future with hope, ready to create a new legacy for the manor and for themselves. And so the story of the lost love became one of redemption and everlasting romance, a testament to the enduring power of love and the bravery of those who fight for it.